Hello, everybody. This is for promotional use only. You guys remember this song?
I am the one and only son of a machine gun. Incomparable, meaning I can't be placed in between none. Even in darkness, I radiate distinction.
Legend family.
You can smell that salt with a coal. It's unbelievable. Darren resembles the broken mold. I'm optimistic. I'm the Aaron open road. Making movements moderate. No need to speed. It's inevitable. You arrive in due time indeed. That was the time and place to invade the empty space. I'm a perfectionist. I never pressure the pen space. But I wouldn't be amazing without God's amazing grace. I can travel out of space, standing in one place.
Hello, everybody. It's me again. It's Russell Mills. November 1st, guys. Just got a question for you guys. Do you guys know the meaning of Halloween? Are we teaching our kids the meaning of Halloween? Because I think everybody just thinks, oh, Halloween, just everybody gets dressed up and have this, costumes and this and that. But I'm going to show you guys a video on YouTube. So this is the most merciful.
Now, going to the fall season, the Celtic people of the north used to believe that during the fall season their year began. And actually, for the Celtics, their New Year's was November 1st. October 31st was the final day of the year for the Celtic people of the north. And that day was called the Day of Samhain. And this individual, wal-iyadu billah, was supposed to be their god of the spirits of the dead, of evil again. And according to their belief, the evil spirits would rise to the surface and would terrorize people on that evening. And on that evening, if you did something wrong to a person, they'd come back to get you on that night. So some people would put on a disguise, so you couldn't recognize them on October 31st on that evening. And then they would be safe. Also, they would burn fires. Now the only thing we find left of that is the jack-o'-lantern that they were put inside of their window made from the pumpkin. What actually happened in Europe is that the church moved All Saints' Day, a day for the saints. They moved it from May 13th to November 1st in 1834 AD. And so what they said was that the 31st night is All Hallows Evening. All Hallows Evening, which in America later became known as Halloween. Halloween. And they depict the forces of evil. What is happening now is that the children put on disguises. They dress as little devils, little witches, as goblins, vampires, anything evil, and they go out. And now with the new American way, they do trick-or-treat. And they come to your house asking for food. Do they do that here in Miami? Trick-or-treat. They knock on your door in their disguise. And some Muslims, thinking they want to be Americans, or they want to be Canadians, so they send their little children, and they're in little disguises. So what are you going to dress them as? A little angel? What are you going to be? How are you going to dress and go out there? And so the reality that we recognize that, number one, this is the day of Samhain. And the Quran tells us, Inna shaytana lil insani aduwwun mubin, that the devil is an open enemy to humanity. There is no compromise with the devil. So we don't play around and disguise ourselves as little devils, little shayateen. We do not disguise ourselves as this, because it is an open enemy to the people of monotheism. Also, there are a number of other aspects. What is happening now, as you may know in America, is that there is a new church coming about, which is called the Church of Satan. Wal-iyadu billah. And in the 60s in San Francisco, the church was initiated. And right now in the American army, if you are Jewish and you die, they bring you a rabbi. If you're a Muslim, they'll bring you an imam. If you're Christian, they'll bring you a priest or a minister. If you're registered as part of the church of Satan, they bring you a priest from the church of Satan. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. And he is performing these rites and rituals, calling on the devil to accept his initiate. And so this is growing in this society. And they actually did a couple movies. They did this Rosemary's Baby. Right? They also, The Exorcist. And a number of movies they did to frighten people with evil. That you will be so afraid of evil. And they show the priests as bumbling idiots, falling down over their feet, can't do anything, running away from the devil. And the devil is a businessman in his suits. And he has the power of lightning and everything. So even though the devil dies in the end, you end up being more afraid of the devil than anything else. That's part of the plot, to brainwash people to be afraid of the shaitan. The reality is that the Prophet ﷺ said that the upper hand is better than the lower hand. Al-yad al-ulya khayrun min al-yad al-sufla. That the upper hand is better than the lower hand. What that means is you should be the one who gives and don't beg. That we should not be begging. And so to send a Muslim child out to trick-or-treat is a demeaning, lowering thing. You're asking them to beg people for food. Then they're dressed up as a way that they're not. Then when the candies and things come in the bag, how do you know what it is they actually gave you? Is it halal? Most of the candies today are made with gelatin, with glycerin. They're made with pork products. And what is also happening is that there are some evil, wicked-minded people who are attacking children on that night. I don't know about Miami, but in Canada now, they openly say on the television, do not send your children trick-or-treating by themselves. Do not go in darkened streets. Move as a group. Don't go to a house that you don't know the people on the inside. And there are literally groups of Satanists who are capturing children, and they're performing a rite, sacrificing the child on that evening of Samhain, supposedly to get more spiritual power. It's happening right now. And so from so many angles, Muslims should have nothing to do with Halloween. And if your children are in school, go to the teacher. Go to the teacher and make it clear to the teacher, we do not involve our children in these ceremonies. Even the Jehovah's Witnesses will go to the teacher and tell them, take my child out of Halloween. They don't even believe in that. Take my child even out of your Christmas. They're not involved in that.
So, did you guys hear that? I'm going to say, I'm going to play another clip.
Halloween, boy, when I was a kid, Halloween meant dressing up like Superman or the girls like, Snow White or something, and we would go door to door in the neighborhood with our little bags and getting candy, and then, of course, we'd make ourselves sick. And then a number of years later, they started saying, wait, this is transgressive. I mean, it's based upon something really creepy. And this was a night where you could commune with the dead, and you could people would dress up in scary costumes so that maybe they could scare the dead or have rapport with the dead, and they would traffic in certain favors with the dead. And as was often the case, the church, and I would say essentially the Catholic Church in the early centuries, started to appropriate these various celebrations. And people say, why do we have eggs at Easter? What's that? Well, it was a kind of a spring fertility thing, but we'll say, okay, that's our Easter. And then as the church appropriated this, they said, okay, we're going to have this All Saints Day. It was Martyrs Day, November 1st, and All Saints Day, and the night before is All Saints Eve or All Hallows Eve, Halloween. And it's ours now. And so we can do this. And it had various iterations. Well, people went back to the roots and they said, wait a second, this is nothing we should connect with. What about that? Well, it strikes me, and by the way, there's no Bible verse that says, woe unto you who practice Halloween and, dress up like Princess Leia or something. There's no verse like that. So what do? You work with broad principles. And in some cases, the Bible speaks very clearly. Don't commit adultery, don't steal, don't murder. In other cases, it seems to be there is some leeway, some room for legitimate disagreement. A couple of things come to mind. One is we actually play off a lot of pagan things throughout our culture. If or yesterday was Thursday. Well, what are you doing as a Christian celebrating Thor? Oh, well, I'm sorry. Yeah. And did you say Wednesday? And did you say I'll meet you on Wednesday? Well, that's honoring Woden, and Saturn is coming up tomorrow and Freya and oh, well, I don't mean that, and it's just after a while you think, well, I just have to come out of the world if I'm going to be a consistent Christian. So I would say, look, just because it had a hinky beginning, it doesn't follow. I mean, that's called the genetic fallacy. If someone says, look, I could never be an Episcopalian because Henry VIII was not a good man. He executed one of his wives and he founded the Anglican Church. So beginnings are not nothing, but they're not everything. And so the question is, what's going on here? Are you communing with spirits? Is that what's up there? Is that what's in your mind? No, not really. It's like a costume party and a treasure hunt in a sense. But it's not enough that you don't mean it. It's also important to ask what people take by it. And I would suggest to you that when you have a little kid with a bag and he's wearing a mask with Scooby-Doo or something on it and he's going door to door getting candy, not only does he not think that he's communing with the dead, I don't think that the lost world is looking and saying, "Whoa, this is an occult thing these Christians have slipped into." So to me, it's a matter of some liberty there. But I think there is a point for us to signal that we're not part of the sub-Christian or anti-Christian or creepiness of a structure. It would be unwise and inappropriate for someone to come out and dress like a devil, or have a pentagram on the forehead, or even a ghoulish kind of thing where you got the Frankenstein with the fake bolts in your neck, or you're sort of trafficking in an image which is sub-Christian. Let's not be cute with that. If we're doing something that has some strange associations, let's do it as unstrange as possible. So again, freedom, but freedom with thoughtfulness.
Thanks for watching Honest Answers. You can submit your questions by email, Twitter, or in the...
So did you guys hear that about what this man was speaking about? And this is why, I feel, again, Christians, if you're a person, not even non-Christians, should not celebrate this. Shouldn't celebrate this day. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like you are releasing evil spirits out to the world. We just think in America, again, it's my opinion, that it's fun, it's games, the kids, you know what I mean? And we're just trying to make the kids happy. You know what I'm saying? Or if we want to go to a party, you know what I'm saying? And we're like, yeah, let's dress up as, this and that. And we're not thinking of that. I think we're not harming anybody, because if you let's say going to a party and you're just drinking, and you're having fun, you're not really fighting or hurting anybody. You're thinking as a person, I'm not doing anything wrong. You're not really doing anything wrong as far as per se, entwining with certain people. But as far as the spiritual world, we're releasing demons in the world every day. And it's funny how every day it's like people, sometimes they have they just act evil or want to act evil that day. And I just don't understand, about this whole situation about this. But What's going on there? That never happened before. But that never happened before with the reconnection. Maybe because YouTube don't want, this is YouTube telling the truth, you know what I mean, about this. So it seems like today people, they don't like to hear about the truth, anymore. But, this is the stuff that, like you see people, with the witches and stuff like that. Like, man, it's crazy. Like, it's just. So what do you guys think about this, man? Like, I'm just gonna try to check something out real quick. Hold on 1 second. So like Halloween, contradiction of All Hallows Evening, less commonly known as All Halloween, All Hallows Eve, or All Saints Eve, is a celebration observed in many countries on October 31st. The eve of Western Christian feast, All Hallows Day. It begins the observation of All Hallow Tide, the time in I can't even say the word. This is dedicated to remembering the dead, including the saints, hallows, matriarchs, and all the departed. It says one theory holds that many Halloween traditions were influenced by Celtic's Harvest Festival, particularly the Gaelics Festival, Samhain, which I believe to have pagan roots. Some go further and suggest that Samhain has been Christianized as All Hallows Day, along with Eve by the early church. Other academics believe Halloween began solely as a Christian holiday, began the vial of All Hallows Day, celebrated in England and Scotland for centuries. And the Irish and Scottish migrants brought many Halloween costumes to North America in the 19th century. And throughout American influence, Halloween spread to other countries by the late 20th and early 21st century. This Halloween activities included trick-or-treating or related guising and souling. Halloween costumes provided craven pumpkins to jack-o'-lanterns, bonfires, apple bobbing. So this is playing games, pranks, visiting haunted attractions, telling scary stories, as well as watching horror films. For some people, Christian religion observed All Hallows Eve, including attending church services and lighting candles on the graves of the dead. Remain popular, although for others this is a secular celebration. Some Christians historically abstain from the meat of All Hallows Eve, a tradition reflected in the eating of certain vegetarian foods of Vigil Day, including apples, potato, pancakes, and soul cakes. This is the word Halloween or Hallows Eve dated to 1745. In its Christian origin, the words Halloween means saints evening. It just comes from the Scottish term of All Hallows, from the this is the evening before All Hallows Day. So it says Halloween is thought. I'll just read this real quick and get off. Halloween is thought to have the roots in Christian beliefs and practices. The name Halloween comes from All Hallows Eve. It's beginning evening before the Christian holidays of All Hallows. I don't know what's going on with this, but I'm I'm just going to say this. I don't know what's going on with my connection, but I'm just going to say this to us parents out here. Be careful of what we expose our kids to, and make sure that, we protect them by all means. You know what I mean? So, that's the one thing that we have to do is protect our kids and make sure we're in a good, they're in a good position, because we don't want to release demons into the world. And that's what we do when we celebrate this day. And it's like, I get it. Parents just want to, just, make their kids happy. I get all that. But, sometimes, you're not really making them happy. You're exposing them to things, and you have to tell them the truth about history and about life. So feel free, everybody, to check out my YouTube channel. Type in my name. It's Russell Mills, RussellMills, May 22nd, 2017. So I feel free to check out my YouTube channel, press the like or hit the like button or whatever, the thumbs up or whatever, how it is. So whoever watches my videos. And number two, just protect your kids, you know what I'm saying, from this crazy world of ours. Or don't have kids, you know what I mean? And then they don't be exposed at all. But so everybody take care. God bless. Peace.